Hello and welcome to Mollie's Motif. This is Emily and we have another fun challenge starting over at Bitten by the Bug 2. This week we're getting closer to Thanksgiving, so we want to see your cards, projects, or layouts that feature a turkey. There's lots of different turkey images out there on the different cartridges, so we just want to see what you were able to come up with, and you know, it's always fun to be inspired by other people's work. So we're anxious to see what you do with this challenge. And then I'm going to be using a turkey cut from the Simply Charmed cartridge. I have already done a card with this cute little turkey, but I haven't done a card with a cooked turkey. And so on page 61, it's the same page that, you know, the fun little turkey doing a little dance is on, but it's the shift key. It's the shift cut. So this is the image that I'm going to be using, and I did cut my image at 2 1/4. It seems like it would be small, but the way that this came out, they measure from top to bottom, not from, you know, front to end. And so when I cut my go-to size, which is around, you know, between 3 and 3.5, that's what I usually go to. But when I cut that out, it was huge. It was so big it wouldn't even fit on a standard A2 size card. So I played around with the size a little bit, and 2 1/4 is what I came up with, and that will work great on my card. So you basically just do your shift base out of the white, or the off-white for the bone and like the little glare that shows. And then your shift layer 1 are the 2 drumsticks, so you'll do that in kind of a lighter brown. And then your shift layer 2 is the, you know, the bulk of the turkey. Shift layer 3 is the platter, and shift layer 4 is the garnish, or the, you know, the lettuce. So, and then when you put it together, it doesn't go in that order. You know, you have to put your first drumstick down, and then the base of the turkey, and then the second drumstick, and then they have, you know, your layer 4 is the lettuce, but you need to put that down before you tack on layer 3. So it's easy to figure out. It's a little bit, you know, kind of backwards, I think, but it's easy to figure out. So that is the turkey that I'm going to be using. And I do have him popped up on two thicknesses, if I can say that, of foam tape, just because I wanted him to be set apart from the pattern paper that he's going to be on. And he needed a little bit more dimension. So he's on, I don't often do 2 thicknesses, but I did on this one. And then my base card, it's definitely not a standard A2, nor a 5x5, but from Art Philosophy, I wanted to play around with one of the card features on this cartridge. And so on page 34, I found this fun shape of a card. And so I cut this out at 5 inches, and I cut it out of just some, you know, fun maroon burgundy cardstock. So I've got that down, and then all my mats, I went ahead and cut on the same page, 34, I just cut the square. And I cut my base mat at 4 3/4, and that will go down. And then I cut my secondary mat at 4 1/2. And then I have a third mat, which I cut at 4 1/4. And those will just be layered down like that. And I do have this, my top mat is on 1 thickness of foam tape, just to, you know, give it a little bit more dimension. So that's how that is going to be working out as far as the layout and the mats that I'm using. And my 2 pattern papers that I'm using, you thought I was done with this pattern, this paper pad, but there were 2 pattern papers that I hadn't used yet. So I wanted to get the use out. Not like I haven't gotten the use out of this paper pack, but I wanted to make sure that I used every design. And so there's this green and white check, and then there's this fun veggie paper, which I think is great for Thanksgiving. It's perfect. So that's how my layout's going to go. And then here's my turkey that's going to go down on the bottom, and you can kind of see why I wanted to pop him up on more than just one piece of foam tape. I wanted to have more dimension there. So, because it's kind of it is a busy pattern behind him, but it's perfect. I just love it. So there is that. And then my sentiment, I don't have too many stamp sets that are Thanksgiving or fall specific, other than just, Happy Thanksgiving. So I wanted to kind of do something a little bit more clever or more fun, kind of a play on words or whatnot. But so from my computer, I just printed out Got Stuffing. And again, I cut out that same square from Art Philosophy. And after I printed my sentiment on just some white cardstock, I used center point on my Cricut, found the center point, and then I cut this square out at 1.25 inch. And then there's not a shadow feature on Art Philosophy, but if you just do the 1/4 inch bigger, it works just fine. And that's the same with the mats. I just did 1/4 inch apart, and they line up great. So my blue mat for my sentiment is 1.5, and then my white cardstock with the sentiment is 1.25. And then I do have that popped up on just one thickness of foam tape. And then I'm probably going to put some brads around my sentiment. I haven't decided if I'm going to do all 4 corners. I think I'm probably going to, but I thought that it needed something else. And I'm finding that I'm more of a brad person than a button person. I tend to go to my brads before my buttons, but that's okay. So something like that. I'll get that figured out if I want to do all 4 corners. But this is the base layout. It's super simple to put together, super easy, just layering those mats and putting the turkey together. It's easier than making a turkey, I can tell you that. So anyway, I'll go ahead and get this put all together. I'll work on the inside, and I'll come back and show you the finished card. Okay, so I've got everything put together. It came together very easily. I was able to get my brads poked through, and I did decide I initially was just going to have 1 thickness of foam tape under my sentiment, but there is 2. So those are both even on the front, the dimension there. And then the inside, just very simple. I freehanded some of my scraps and just kind of made a little border down at the bottom. Just just a cut and paste basically. And then I did cut another yellow base mat from Art Philosophy, and that was cut at 4 3/4. My white cardstock mat was cut at 4 1/4. And then, like I said, I just took some scraps and just kind of made a fun little border there. No Cricut with that. And then my Happy Thanksgiving, it comes from, I want to say it's a Fiskars set. Pretty sure it's Fiskars. And it's just a all year occasion. So there's my Happy Thanksgiving from there. And I used Memento Tuxedo Black ink for that. And it came together so quick and easy. Seriously, if putting together Thanksgiving dinner was as easy as this, then I'd be set. But yeah, so just a fun, simple card. And I hope that you were able to join us over at Bitten by the Bug 2 this week and show us your projects that feature a turkey of some sort. And can't believe that Thanksgiving is it's coming up so fast. And I am not even ready. So we'll get ready though, I'm sure. And I appreciate you taking the time to watch my video. I'd appreciate any comments or feedback that you'd have for me. You can always check out my blog. It's molliemugsblog.blogspot.com. And we will catch you next time.